Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to another Fit to Read, where I'm showing off some comic books I picked up and giving my few cents on them. First off, I'm going to start with the Armorclads from Valorant Comics here. This is issue 2. I've already picked up and read issue 1. Issue 2 I guess came out a little fast. But essentially, this takes place in a different solar system where the people on the worlds are in war. There's the military class, which is called the Armorclads, and then there's the kid worker class that works under them, which is called the Ironclads. And so the Ironclads get resources from planets with hostile creatures to feed the military machine of the Armorclad, which the Armorclad uses their also military might to keep the Ironclads safe from the monsters. In the first issue, we see an Ironclad kid get left for dead by the order of an Armorclad, and so the other Ironclads decide not to help him when he gets swarmed by the monsters. And then we start in issue 2 here with more Armorclads coming to the camp of the Ironclad to investigate what happened to the one Armorclad. I'm enjoying the artwork, but the story isn't really grabbing me. It's more like a young adult novel, I feel. And the reason I really picked this up because it said that it's going to be a mech book, but even in issue 2 they're calling what they're using power armor, which is essentially what it is. Maybe a somewhat exoskeleton-like equipment too. So I don't know if I'm going to go around to issue 3 to see what happens to our Ironclad protagonists and how the society of the Armorclad functions in this planet of this system of worlds that's currently at war between each other. And as for the insect monsters, they had maybe just a couple panels in the first book, so we probably won't be seeing them anymore. They're more of a environmental hazard, I guess. The cover looks pretty nice here, but the story is just not gripping me, so I don't know if I'm going to do issue 3. Not yet, anyway. And then I'm moving on to Darkstalkers, Morgan from Udon. I haven't really played any of the Darkstalker games, but I know of the characters from various news articles and tie-in stuff they do. And this issue here follows the Succubus Morgan after apparently the Street Fighter crossover comics, as she is now the queen of the underworld, doing her queenly duties of keeping order while also reclaiming artifacts of her family. In this book, we just see a little bit of what it's like to be the queen. And also, she comes face to face with some familiar faces of her past that she has to confront. Very nice artwork, but I guess that this isn't really a good jumping on point, I think. Since not really going much the back story of this character, and this sort of it seems to go off on the end to set up for future stories, probably following other characters from the Darkstalkers and Night Warriors comics and video game series. So, Oh, now this one. Oh, here we go, people. The team up with Boom and IDW is the Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I can't believe it took this long for this crossover to finally happen. I haven't read any of the Boom Power Rangers comics, but I don't know, from what I heard from one or two reviewers, they're supposedly pretty good. And in this story, we find Rita Repulsa. She finds a hidden temple of some sort of mystic power that leads her to an alternate dimension where there's no Power Rangers to stop her from taking over that universe. The Green Ranger so happens to follow her, and they both so happen to find that this is a world of Godzilla. So we're going to have Power Rangers, Megazords, Godzilla, and other monsters just duking it out. It's going to be great. I believe this is going to be a 5-issue series. Issue 2 is actually came out today, so I'm going to read that right after this video. But I gotta say, the artwork is pretty cool in this. I mean, you see a lot of extra muscles on the Power Rangers, more than you would in the TV show. And Rita Repulsa and her lackeys, and even foot soldiers, look pretty intimidating. And I gotta love the artwork on the Big G himself. I mean, I feel that he was a little underplayed on this, but this is a lot of setup. And I gotta say that even though I'm not reading other Power Rangers comics at all, that this is very interesting about how they got the looks and the personalities of these characters in this book. Even some of them that we barely see in the show back in the day is getting a few more lines than they normally would. So, yeah, I mean, crossovers, they're always a treat to have. Either they're bad or good. It's just something that you just want to see how it's going to work, if it's going to be good enough for even more crossovers, or if it's just going to fail. And I gotta say that this is a pretty good setup, and this was a very good book of robot against giant monster fight. Now we move on to Monkey Prince number 3, which I believe is also in our 5-issue series. Wherein this picks up right where the last one left off. We got Marcus here. He's trying to learn some more of his monkey powers and riding on a cloud. And meanwhile, the penguin is in the sewers, leaving bodies around as he gets more accommodated to his new demon powers and supposedly the new lord he's following to get more power. I'm enjoying the artwork. I'm liking the book, the story. Not seeing much of Batman or Robin, which, I mean, it's kind of a good thing because it happens in their city, but this is about the Monkey Prince and his origin story, which they do say in one panel here that there's other sons from the Monkey King, so there might be other Monkey Princes out there, but they dropped that one sentence later. Artwork is still doing pretty nice in this. I feel like that's somewhat of other Batman comics I read. I haven't read too many, but I've seen this art style before, and it's working out pretty well. I'm definitely going to hang on to this a little more because I know very vaguely about the whole Monkey King goes west riding on a cloud story, mainly from Dragon Ball, but also a few other things. So I kind of like to see how this new interpretation is going to take, and maybe it might be more accurate to the story than others I know of. Okay, here we are. The Blue Blur himself, Sonic the Hedgehog, or the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 official movie prequel comic book from IDW, along with Paramount Films. Now, they bring back some of the writers and also artists from other Sonic comics to all team up on this. And I gotta say, the artwork all across is very good. They're very cartoony, kind of like that one Progressive ad, or even in the Sonic Unleashed video games. And this book is a prequel to the second movie. Well, I guess you could sort of say it takes place in between both movies, because it also sort of seems to be a sequel to the first movie, too. You got 5 stories in here, one featuring Sonic, another featuring Tails, Knuckles. Agent Stone gets his own story, see how he got into the coffee shop that you see in the trailer for the second movie. And there's even a story at the end which probably could have easily been left out of this altogether, but I mean, I really like Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, so I'm happy it was in here because I could totally see him saying those lines, as the last story in this book is a Dr. Robotnik story, which it has less to do of setting up or following up of the 2 movies, but you know, it's just Jim Carrey Robotnik being goofy. But then again, these are 5 short stories. The book is $7, so I don't know if it's really worth that much, but it does sort of do a little setup or a little connecting the dots in between the 2 movies. I mean, if you're a big Sonic fan of the movies mainly, definitely a pickup for you. Maybe even as a Sonic fan, because it still has that vibe. But, you know, I don't know if it's something that you should really just go out and just pick up off random. Let's staying on Sonic from IDW. We have Sonic 48. Issue 49 also came out today. I'll be reading that next. And we're almost up to the big 50 of this comic series. In this issue, we got the Chaotix investigating some mysterious events happening in a nearby city. As it turns out, if you've been following the Sonic the Hedgehog Imposter Syndrome, issue 1, 2, 3, 4 should be coming out soon. You'll know that it's the 2 characters from that story that cause all these troubles, but the Chaotix don't know that, and a lot of the people here, the eyewitnesses, they didn't even get a good eye what happened, so it's a little investigation tale. I don't want to spoil how it ends, but it's like you want to set up the future stories and adventures, not necessarily for the Chaotix, but for what could happen to other characters down the line. Sort of more of a one-shot, really. not really caring for this cover. I mean, it's nice, but I think one of the variant covers probably would have been better if I could picked it up. So, no Sonic and Tails in it at all. But looks like we get more of them in the next issue. It's a nice little diversion from the main story arcs that's been happening, which looks like the next issue we'll be getting into. So, it's skippable. Now we're going on to Star Wars, Galactic Cruise, the Hylicon Legacy, something from Marvel, which I liked the first issue because it was mainly set during the High Republic, the Star Wars High Republic times, which I'm really liking. I'm not that far into it yet because there's like several light novels, I think audio dramas, and at least 2 comic series covering it in a manga series, which is still on book 1. I'm waiting for book 2 of that to come out already. So I like that first issue. Thought I'd give this issue a shot. It was pretty boring for me. It takes place in a time when Aurora Singh was alive with Sam Wessel, and they were just being bodyguards for this one guy on the ship. And then also of course, that's flashback like the High Republic storyline in the first issue. And the current time storyline, it's just nothing really happens. It says, oh, we gotta fly faster. Just keeping ahead of the pirates. Yeah, so I am definitely dropping this series. And then we finish off with We Ride Titans, number 3 from Vault Comics. And in here, it picks up right where issue 2 left off, where Kits is still trying to practice in this Titan when another one shows up and just starts punching for no reason. They quickly find that there's no life forms aboard, so Kit can go full force on it without worrying about hurting anybody inside. Still gotta be careful about all the buildings around them, though. There's more family drama between the father, the daughter, the son. The mother does a little appearance, and also we get an outside perspective of what other people feel about the family, and also the Titans that they pilot, and what they mean to other people in the situations that they were at their point. So I mean, this is nice that this has a good amount of action, mech on mech, in a world where they're using mechs to fight monsters, similar to Pacific Rim. But like the first 2 issues, it's about the family drama, about how they're trying to come together, try to fix themselves, at least enough to keep fighting off the monsters. Because just reading about how these family members have gotten along and are getting along now, what's broken is going to stay broken. They're just trying to bandage up what needs to be splinted together so they just keep the fight going on. I'm definitely going to keep looking forward to more of these. Now, those are all the comics I've been picking up recently that I've read. I did get a few manga. Haven't fully read them yet. Did go through the latest Gundam. And I did get the second book of the Wonder Woman, Historia, the Amazons. But those books are so beautifully and so wordy to read that I still haven't finished the first one that came out months ago. And those are books you definitely want to take your time with. Like, yeah, here they are. Much bigger than regular comic book issues. And I gotta say, from what I've been trying to get through in the issue 1, they are definitely worth the price and the time. Can't wait till I start digging into issue 2. So now I got those out of the way, I can now move on to the new Sonic, the new Godzilla vs. Power Rangers, another issue of Cowboy Bebop, and the latest Alien that all came out today. So expect to see a video covering those and many more within a few weeks. Thank you for watching if you stayed along this long. Hope you see